Ladies and gentlemen, pay attention. This is your boy, the coach from the WWE. I would like to welcome you to the very first wrestling podcast in the world to take you on a weekly deep dive into classic matches along with legends of the squared circle. Enjoy the discussion. Enjoy the back and forth. There's so much to get into. Ladies and gentlemen, this is The Payoff.
Welcome to an all-new episode of The Payoff. I'm Tom, that's Jeff. Eddie Guerrero and REY Mysterio Jr. steel cage match. I'm pumped to cover this one, but Jeff, how the hell are you doing?
Not too bad, man. It's a good time of year. I feel like, again, as always, like we're kind of in between a little bit of stuff here. There's not, we got an NXT show coming up. Just nothing too crazy, but we got, good things happening all over the place. And I'm doing good too, good stuff.
Yeah, we're kind of on the road to Survivor Series a little bit. Vancouver, those fans should be absolutely nuts, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we got the Saudi show before and then Survivor Series, but yeah, it'll be nuts.
I love these amped up crazy crowds. Canada always delivers. Obviously, the international stuff always delivers. I love it, man. Why'd you pick this one?
Yeah, so this was one, it's just kind of the time of the year. It was one that, we try and schedule based on, when these things are kind of happening and when our episode aired, just kind of for anniversary type purposes. And this was one that, just kind of looking through, I saw that, especially, with everything going on with Dominic, and I saw Ray was posting some maskless photos, a little while back here. And so on the beach with the family and stuff. And so, and so much we talk about like the Halloween Havoc match and the WCW matches, but there isn't, to my knowledge, like, we don't talk about Ray and Eddie's matches in WWE much. So I wanted to make sure to kind of throw one on the list here because why not? It's still, Ray, who knows if that guy's ever going to retire. And it's just one that, steel cage match, which these two, like, it's got to be good. I don't see how it couldn't be.
Works for me. I love it. Let's get into the build.
Oh, it's time for the build.
All right, so this show, okay, this is a Smackdown. This is not a pay-per-view or a PLE. For those that are so young they don't remember the pay-per-view era. Right. Probably none of you. So this is just a loaded Smackdown. We have a new version of the Legion of Doom. Heidenreich and Road Warrior Animal are your tag team champions. They're going to retain in 11 minutes versus M&M, which was Mercury and Nitro, accompanied by Melina. Ken Kennedy's going to defeat Paul London. Paul Burchill's going to defeat Scotty 2 Hotty. Then we get to the cage match, Guerrero, Mysterio. Then we have Chris Benoit, your U.S. champion, in a quick win over Orlando Jordan. And in your main event, Batista defeating JBL in a bull rope match to retain the World Heavyweight Championship. Also had The Undertaker running around this show involved as well. So pretty loaded Smackdown for 2005. A lot of talent on this show. Steel cage match and a bull rope match all on the card. Pretty wild. And so this was September 9th of 2005, and it took place in Atlanta. But fun show, huh, Jeff?
Yeah, this would have been one of those Smackdowns where at the time, like, no, it's like, oh, it's, Kennedy and Scotty. But that would have been an entertaining show. Yeah, for, whatever. I forget what night Smackdown used to be on. But yeah.
This was a Friday night Smackdown. And the title of this was Friday Night Smackdown at the time.
Got it. Okay, cool. Yeah. So this, how do we get here type thing, like we said. So this is we're getting, right around the custody of Dominic type stuff. And so we'll start, like you said, this taking place September 9th, 2005. We're going to go back a little bit here, though, right in the heart of that. It would have been late June, where Guerrero started threatening, revealing the secret about Dominic, and and that he had that, and that just really played out for most of the summer at that point. And so you also got to, we've talked about it before when we covered that episode, like Eddie's bedtime stories, the kind of doing that and reading it in the ring, and of course, Dominic being his son, and all of that. So it was actually SummerSlam of that year. You had Guerrero losing the ladder match in the custody of Dominic match. And so moving forward a little bit here, that's SummerSlam, though, taking place. It would have been August 21st. And so it does feel, we can talk about it after, it does feel a little weird. They had this big payout, but then they have this match in the steel cage here too. I guess, booking of the time, whatever it may have been. But this would have been the end of the feud at that point. And so kind of weird that it wasn't, with the Dominic stuff, but hey, I'm okay. We get a steel cage match out of it a couple weeks later on Smackdown here. And really all of the build was about the stuff with Dominic leading up to this. So that's how we got here. Pretty simple stuff.
Good, man. Well, I'm pumped to cover this one. I can't imagine that these two would have a bad match.
I would absolutely agree. Yep.
So we are at the 9/9/2005 Smackdown, which is season 7, episode 36. We're at the 50-minute mark. Jeff, are you ready?
Let's do this, man.
All right. It's time for the payoff.
Oh, it's time for the payoff.
All right.
Rey Mysterio.
Here we go.
Versus Eddie Guerrero. You can win
Eddie looking angry,
or by
looking like a heel.
Both feet must touch the floor. And this too, now Eddie Guerrero has lost everything.
Taz and Cole on commentary.
The fact that Rey Mysterio
Rey looks the same as he looks now.
Everything away from Eddie.
I forgot that. I mean, this is only 2 months before Eddie passes away.
Yeah, that's a big part of the aftermath on this one. Yeah, but it was not that long after this. Yeah.
So I haven't even told you this yet.
Sure.
I have been completely vindicated, and I'm going to brag about it.
Let's do it. Okay.
Few months ago, and I can't remember when this was or what prompted it, and you may remember. I got into it with Meltzer on Twitter about the relationship between Tony Khan and Bill Goldberg.
Yep.
Okay. And Meltzer was just being an asshole. And then
shocker.
Unsolicited, because I certainly didn't tag him and I don't talk to him, Sean Ross Sapp jumps in and he starts running his mouth defending Dave. And my whole premise, because the whole premise here was Meltzer said Goldberg and Tony Khan are friends. And I said, there's no way. Like, I will bet whatever you want me to bet, okay? That's not true. That's factually incorrect. And I think he said something like good friends or very close or whatever he said to insinuate that there is a strong friendship and personal bond between Tony Khan and Bill Goldberg. And I said, there is no way. And furthermore, this is why people don't believe you. This is why you guys lack credibility, because you and the others in the quote unquote wrestling media make shit up. And I'm calling you out on it. There's no way that this is true. Okay. So Sean Ross Sapp gets involved. I end up blocking him because I'm just like, I don't need to be harassed when I'm right by someone I'm not even speaking to, because him and many others in the quote unquote wrestling media are insecure about the fact that they make things up. And if you question their credibility, it could hurt their earning potential. So they are very, very protective of what they report and the accuracy, because it's the only thing that they can stand on as they try to charge people $5, $10, $15 a month for their made up stuff. And of course they do report facts, and of course they do a good job in some areas, but they make things up. So Jeff, Goldberg is on Chris Van Fleet's podcast recently. I just listened to it. And hey, Bill, you ever think about working with AEW? And he said, nah, never really got close. Talked to Tony a few times. And the relationship between those two came up. Do you know what Bill Goldberg said? He's just Dixie Carter 2.0.
Yeah.
So, Jeff, if you and I are friends, we're close friends, we're buddies, we're whatever Dave Meltzer says, am I going to, on a podcast interview publicly, make fun of you, insult you, and insinuate that you're an idiot that is running a wrestling company into the ground like someone recently did with a different company? Would friends who have a good relationship ever speak that way about each other?
Right. No.
So
yeah,
again,
just no,
Dave,
it's just crazy.
Dave, you're making things up. You're writing stories about Bill Goldberg and Tony Khan being friends, having positive relationships. Now, where does that information come from? I don't know. My guess is Tony Khan is kind of a dork and he's really delusional. And he probably told Meltzer, because obviously they talk, oh, Bill and I are friends.
Mm-hmm.
So, Dave, now you're taking one guy's word for it. You're not double sourcing it, and you're being worked or lied to by your source. That's not journalism, but you claim to be a journalism, and you get very defensive when people challenge you on your journalism. So I'm done. You can give any closing thoughts to that, but I wanted to share that because I think it's such a great example of so much of the bullshit that's out there and how much stuff gets completely made up on a daily and hourly basis by these guys, because some things are facts that they take from WWE or report that happened on TV. Some of them are hearsay. Some of them are completely fabricated. It's this mishmash of stuff.
So I know this doesn't happen to my knowledge, at least with the big wrestling reporters. What a lot, and I'm the video gamer of the two of us, and a lot of times what happens with video game, like kind of, I say not influencers, but people that tweet about video games before there's like a big conference or something where they're going to reveal some stuff, they will tweet like 100 different things about that could happen at the conference, and then as either the conference is happening or after it, they delete all the tweets that are wrong, the things that didn't get revealed. So then their timeline looks like they batted 1,000% and predicted all, 10 new games that are coming out in the near future here. I'm not saying that happens, like I said, with the big wrestling reporters, but you and I could do that before every pay-per-view. And then a couple of days later, somebody finds our stuff and we're like, oh, the Wide Six, here's the people that's going to be in it, and we could tweet the most random shit and then delete the ones that are wrong, and then all of a sudden we look like we've got the inside scoop here.
Or you say plans change.
Right, exactly. Yeah. Oh, this was unexpected, or they kept this on lockdown, or whatever it was. I tweeted you, not or we tweeted when it happened, or not tweeted, but you and I were texting when it happened. The photo of Tony Khan and Shane McMahon would not have gotten out if Tony Khan and Shane McMahon didn't want it to get out. Like that, like, come on. Like, I'm not about to get worked that hard thinking that these guys didn't plan for that to happen that way. Like, that's just not the case. And we had heard from some of the big reporters, like, yeah, like, there is talks. They don't know what's going to happen. Now, all of a sudden, we got a photo of them as well, too. Not that one. Like, it's just like, I feel like the true reporting, like, nobody broke that before it happened. Like, it took the photo for us to see, like, oh, they met. It wasn't like Shane McMahon and Tony Khan have a meeting on the books. Like, that never came out ahead. Like, the true reporting of it didn't come out until that photo came out, which, like, come on. Like,
And it wasn't reporting. It was someone
right.
in the wrestling media running PR for Tony Khan so he can stay on his good side and get scoops. Because if you don't get scoops, you don't have access, you don't have anything you can charge people $10 a month for. So
Right.
that's the thing, is they need access. I mean, what
Yep.
use is a website if they can't get any access, they can't interview any wrestlers, they can't do any of the media scrums after? They have no credibility. They lose subscribers, which means they lose their income. So they have to do whatever they're told. They're not journalists.
Yeah.
They're
Well,
fanboys.
they're getting work too. And,
Absolutely.
And we've said that for a long time. This has been a great match too. You got Eddie and like he's throwing Ray into the cage.
Match.
Yeah, he's throwing Ray into the cage and they're climbing it and it's all kinds of crazy stuff. But yeah, it is just, it's just, yeah. Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, and we're coming back. All right. Yeah, I think it's just wild how so much of that plays out that way. And like you have to understand, like we're getting worked. Like it wasn't Triple H or who was it not that long ago? Or no, I forget what it was, but it was something like there were fake stories being planted. Oh, it was Deadpool, the movie. Like they said they were planting fake stories about what was happening. Like you're going to tell me that that's not happened forever in WWE. Like planning a fake story. Like you can't tell me that they don't find who is leaking stuff because of fake stories that they plant. But then on the flip side, like they're trying to work everybody. Like they're playing it close to the vest. Like, we don't get like we have not, to his credit, we haven't heard as much like backstage craziness at WWE since Triple H took over, the rewrites on Monday or anything like that. But also like I could say when Vince, I say was really doing all that and I say the end there, like I could have tweeted that every week, be like, oh, there's, drama backstage this Monday night. Like, yeah. I would, of course, because there is, and it doesn't matter if there's some random, it is Vince or it's something, or there's some random rewrite. Like it's true, but you also got to break it down a little bit. And so, yeah, I think, you got to remember, like, it's a business. Like, who was it? I saw a comedian not that long ago that was, and we've always heard the stories like, oh, it's fake. It's like, yes, this thing you enjoy that, you watch on TV, like it's fake. Like, no shit. Like, How big of a psychopath do you have to be to think that Rey Mysterio climbing the cage right now and Eddie Guerrero and his son and that's real? Like, you have to be a complete psychopath to actually believe the storylines that are happening. Like, what they do to their bodies is absolutely real. But come on, like, and we've said this before. Every show on the planet is scripted. Like, that's what it is. But a lot of this isn't scripted. It's just. I don't know, it's frustrating.
Well, and wrestling's such a weird genre because you have a pretty substantial portion of the fan base that's maybe not the highest IQ. And so a little more susceptible to manipulation and lies. And okay, so Eddie
touch the floor. Guerrero on the back, but what's he doing? He's got an
he could have left the cage. He chose not to. He's going back in there.
Well, I think Eddie.
Hey, so another thing related to
2, 3. Eddie Guerrero defeating Rey Mysterio.
He goes back in and hits him with the moonsault. Very, very good TV match. Very good.
Yeah.
One other thing I wanted to tell you in regard to people posting stuff. Another genre that's happening is there's influencers that have deals with the sports books, and so they'll put out their parlay or their picks, and then when they don't hit, they delete them. So there's like this one Instagram influencer, and we laugh because she'll put out on her stories like a parlay every day, and it never hits, of course, and so she deletes it as soon as it doesn't cash.
See, that's how they get you. Yep. Dumb.
So, all right. Well, good TV match. Hey, real quick, you think we'll ever see Cody do a moonsault off the top of the cage again?
One day, I have a feeling we will, but we'll. He's got to save it for Orton or something good. Yeah.
Okay. I'm in the vote of no. I think that Edge scared some people, and when you're making that kind of money and you're not 25 anymore,
That's fair.
you decide against it. But I don't know. A moonsault's probably safer than what Edge tried to do, landing on his leg. So, all
I
right,
think we'll see it. Yep.
good TV match. Let's get into the aftermath.
Ho! It's time for the aftermath.
All right, walk us through the aftermath here, and what'd you think of this one?
It was great. It really was. We talked through a lot of it, but there was a lot of really good action. They were playing some of the lucha type stuff of like Eddie flinging him into the cage or vice versa, or using the cage as that to kind of bounce around and stuff like that. So I thought that it was really good. And so, just really nice. So, aftermath on this, like you said. So, well, I guess we'll start with Guerrero. Or no, I'll start with Mysterio at this point. It was November 13th, 2005, that Guerrero, he was found dead in his hotel room that was in Minnesota. With Mysterio, that was actually the same day. There was a super show. You had both SmackDown and Raw being taped. You had Mysterio kind of gave a speech about Guerrero as well too. It's a whole thing. You ended up having REY beating Shawn Michaels actually in a match that night. The two of them hugged it out. That was just a big thing. Which that one I did add that one to our list after I kind of looked at it. I was like, I had that one crazy. And so they're very emotional and stuff like that. But then you ended up having Mysterio. He was in the main event of Survivor Series just a couple weeks later at that point, November 27th. You had Team SmackDown, which was Orton, Bobby Lashley, Batista, JBL, and him, REY, beating Team Raw, which was Shawn Michaels, Kane, Big Show, Carlito, and Chris Masters. And so and then you had him feuding with the Big Show and having that. So we'll talk about that a different day. But Guerrero, on the flip side of this, he actually became the number one contender before he passed away for the World Heavyweight Championship. It was a title match with Batista. They had some back and forth, him turning on him. You had some matches with Eminem, like you said, and Guerrero kind of playing the heel, or as he does, the conniving kind of ways and stuff like that. You had Batista beating Guerrero at No Mercy, retaining the World Heavyweight Championship at that point. That would have been that No Mercy was Guerrero's last pay-per-view match. And so real quick, that No Mercy would have been October 9th, 2005. And then his last match on SmackDown, he actually beat Mr. Kennedy by DQ. That was November 11th. So, and we know just that was 2 days before it happened. So, just kind of, just sad, all of it, and kind of how it played out and stuff like that. So, but still a really good match. Definitely one I would encourage people if you want to watch a good match between these guys that wasn't in their WCW days and not a pay-per-view, this was a pretty good one, I thought.
Very good. Very good. They used the cage well too. That was, I know we were talking over a lot of it, but they kind of spent most of the match working the cage, which is always enjoyable.
So absolutely. So they were up top, and especially Eddie, he could have walked out, but then still went back for a pin. I thought that was a nice little move there. So, PWI, Eddie Guerrero was 15, REY was 14, so very close. These two guys, just great. There's no write-ups on this one actually because it was just a SmackDown, and so neither other than this match took place, they didn't have any reviews or anything on this match. So overall, but what do you think?
I do actually have a star rating for this.
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
I did see that on Cage Match, Wrestling Observer, 3.5 stars.
Oh, wow. Okay. You found more than I did. All right. Yeah. That doesn't surprise me. So what are you thinking for your score then?
I got this at a 6. I mean, it wasn't, it was a TV match, so it wasn't, among your best cage matches ever, but fun match, good length. Worked the cage a lot, which was good. I liked the ending. I thought it told a good story of he needs to go back in there and do more damage. And so Guerrero came out strong. I don't know, and I'm sure Bruce has talked about this on his podcast, but I don't know if the plan was to get the title back on Eddie as a heel. But obviously it's a shame what happened.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm with you. I got this one I gave it a 6.5. It was a good match. It wasn't anything crazy. They had matches that were better, but not to discredit this one. It was still really good though. Yeah. So, all right, with that, and sent him home happy. Good little match, of course. Don't forget manscaped.com using that promo code payoff and anything you're throwing in your cart. Just not that long ago, I actually had a friend, just out of the blue, said, he was he grown a beard and needed something. I said, hey man, use this 20% off. We get it for free, with the shipping. And so it's something you want to definitely check out and kind of use and all that stuff. I personally was in the shower not that long ago. I don't know if you're still using them or still have them, but I like how the body wash and the shampoo smell different. I don't know why. It's just my thing. But they both smell good, but they're both a little different. And so, and I like the pump bottles too. Like I don't use a bar of soap because I'm not weird. But I enjoy kind of having that, and so that's always good stuff. So we are always using my products. It's really good stuff.
I absolutely despise shampoo and conditioner all in one.
Me too. Yeah. But you know what? It's just, crazy. So, but yeah, because we're adults, we're past that. We don't need the 4-in-1, something that could wash us plus our dishes or whatever else. So,
but if you have like 6 roommates in college, you don't have much shelf space. So the 4-in-1 that one of your buddies is probably stealing from you is more economic than, having the shampoo, conditioner, face wash. That's just a recipe for disaster.
Well, we had the frat house, and so everything was in bulk anyways. So we would just buy the vat of shit that probably should have never been going near our body, but that's what we did. So
we used to have you'd walk to the shower in your towel, but then you'd have the little like crate with all your stuff.
Yeah.
So shampoo, you'd have it all. You'd kind of be carrying it. So you'd have that in one hand. You'd have a shower beer in the other hand. When life was a lot simpler.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. So, all right. Next week, where are we going next week?
We got a good one next week. Saturday night's main event.
Main event. Yeah, we're going way back, actually. Going back to the late 80s, actually, on this one with Honky Tonk and Randy Savage. This should be a real good one.
Good. Well, we appreciate everyone listening, and we'll see you next week in 1987 on an all-new episode of The Payoff.